Stakes raised again as Aussie gun faces US star Frances Tiafoe after Djokovic demolition a spot in the US Open last 8, and the world's top 20, are on offer for Aussie star Alexei Popyrin when he faces American Frances Tiafoe at the US Open on Monday morning, AST. Having stunned the tennis world to take down defending champion Novak Djokovic on Saturday, the Australian 28th seed faces a tough assignment against local hope Tiafoe, who is the 20th seed. The pair are good friends but have never played each other on the tour ahead of a meeting to decide who will take on 9th seed Grigor Dimitrov in the quarterfinals. "We get along really well off the court," Popyrin said of Tiafoe. "It will be interesting to play against him. We have practiced a bunch of times. Watch selected NRL, AFL, SSN games plus every F1 qualifying session and race live in 4K on KO. New to KO? Start your free trial today. He's a very tricky player. He probably has some of the best hands on tour, comes into the net a lot, and likes to mix it up. That's going to be the tough part. I'm just going to have to play my game, and serve well." The 25-year-old's win over Djokovic continued a remarkable recent surge highlighted by capturing his first ATP Masters title in Montreal. As well as booking a Grand Slam quarterfinal berth for the first time, a victory would also propel Popyrin into the world's top 20, remarkable for a player stuck outside the top 100 less than 2 years ago. Australia is guaranteed to have at least one man in the last 8, with Alex de Minaur and Jordan Thompson facing off in a round of 16 clash on Tuesday, AST. Live, if the blog does not appear, click here. Third set. Alexei Popyrin has kept alive his hopes of reaching the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam for the first time by seizing the third set in his clash with Frances Tiafoe at the US Open. But the Australian still has a significant challenge ahead as he seeks to make a comeback from a 2-set deficit against the American star, who leads 6-4, 7-6, 3, 2-6. Popyrin pushed immediately to put the deflating experience of dropping a second set where he did everything bar win it by breaking Tiafoe with a superb effort in the third game. A forehand that dipped at his rival's feet on the second point was a ripper, while a backhand winner that whizzed by the number 20 seed on the next even better. On breaking Tiafoe, Popyrin turned to his box and roared in defiance while bouncing on his feet. An initial bid to secure a second break, effectively an insurance break, fell short when the American star rose to the occasion from 0-40 when trailing 1-3 to keep the set tight. After holding serve with 5 points in succession, the 26-year-old Tiafoe bellowed, "Let's go." But after letting the second set slip, this time Popyrin kept his foot on the accelerator by securing a second break in the set when clubbing a backhand return winner to move to 5-2. It is indisputable that the Australian raised his game in the third set, which is impressive given the disappointment that occurred in the latter stages of the second set. But there were also signs that Tiafoe, who had progressed to the last 16 courtesy of a highly physical 5-set win over last year's semi-finalist Ben Shelton, hit a flat spot. The road of 16 clash has now been going for 2 hours 21 minutes. Alexei Popyrin has squandered a golden opportunity to level his US Open road of 16 clash with American favorite Frances Tiafoe, and now faces a massive task to prevail. After dropping the first set 6-4, the Australian held 3 set points to level when serving at 5-3 in the second set but failed to convert as Tiafoe roared back to clinch a tiebreaker. The number 20 seed now leads 6-4, 7-6, 3 in the fourth road match underway at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Not only is it an opportunity gone begging for the Aussie, the partisan crowd in attendance is now roaring for Tiafoe, a Washington, D.C. raised star who is a fan favorite in America. From dominating on serve for a period and finally finding his range from the baseline, Popyrin faltered in both aspects of his game late as his bid to make a maiden Grand Slam quarterfinal became far more difficult. Popyrin said when pressed late in his 4-set win over Djokovic on Friday night that he started cursing at himself in order to try to fire himself up to finish the legend off. As the level of the match increased early in the second set, with a screaming backhand winner from Tiafoe in the third game an example, Popyrin could be heard urging himself on. It was a testing period for the Australian as his inspired rival started clubbing winners. Facing a break point at 1-all, Popyrin was able to see off the initial challenge with a serve directed to his rival's body. On eventually holding, he roared towards his box in defiance. A full set after an initial challenge to the Tiafoe serve, another opportunity presented for Popyrin when, after a couple of early errors, he finally found his range from the baseline. Trailing 30-0 in the game, the 25-year-old played 4 superb points in a row, mixing winners with superb court craft, drop shots with lobs, strong defense with a swift transition to attack. The point to clinch the break was an illustration, with Popyrin's touch coming to the fore as he executed a drop shot that brought his rival to the net before punching a volley past him. The Sydneysider did everything bar securing the set when moving to a 40-0 lead when serving at 5-3, only to allow his rival a massive reprieve. After a couple of mistakes during rallies, Tiafoe saved a third set point when rifling a backhand return for a winner down the line before Popyrin double faulted on break point. Popyrin started the tiebreaker poorly with a double fault, his third for the set, and then overhit a forehand when in a good position to strike on the second point. When Tiafoe ripped a cross-court forehand passing shot on the next point, the crowd rose to their feet in celebration as the local favorite moved to a strong position in the tiebreaker. After Popyrin double faulted for the second time in the tiebreaker to trail 3-6, it was Tiafoe who held 3 set points. And he made no mistake when rifling an ace past the Aussie. The Australian served brilliantly for much of the set, striking 8 aces, but paid the price for being errant from his forehand wing, both when holding and facing break points in the set. The number 28 seed has been far more aggressive than his rival, who reached the semi-finals in New York 2 years ago, but the riskier strategy has seen him err far more than his rival. In a match where the serve is likely to dominate, the Australian will need to tighten his game to progress further following his stunning upset of Novak Djokovic 2 nights ago. Popyrin wore headphones onto the court when introduced, and that may well have been a wise move initially to drown out the first sign of the support for the local hopeful. While the Aussie received warm applause, the ovation for Tiafoe was deafening even with the 24,000-seat stadium still to fill to capacity. And there was a roar when he broke serve to move into the ascendancy deep in the opening set. Tiafoe won the coin toss but opted to return, clearly hoping the Australian might feel some nerves on his return to the court where he defeated Novak Djokovic 2 nights ago.